I got pregnant by my affair partner while my husband was getting a vasectomy. I tried to pass it off as a miracle, but his doctor confirmed it was medically impossible, and now I'm facing paternity fraud charges. I was staring at 3 positive pregnancy tests in a gas station bathroom while my husband was in surgery getting a vasectomy. That's the moment I knew I was screwed. Let me back up. I'd been sleeping with Derek for 7 months. Derek from my book club, actually a real book club this time, not a fake alibi. He was 32, divorced, no kids, good job in finance. My husband Ryan and I had been married for 9 years. We had 2 kids already, Emma, 7, and Tyler, 5, and we'd agreed we were done. To and through. Ryan had scheduled his vasectomy months in advance. I met Derek 6 months after Ryan and I made the vasectomy decision. We'd been talking about it for a year, both on the same page. 2 kids was perfect. We were happy. Our family was complete. Ryan booked the appointment, paid the $1,200 out of pocket because insurance wouldn't cover it, and marked it on the calendar. And somewhere in that year of waiting, I started sleeping with Derek. It wasn't planned. It never is, right? We just connected at book club. Started texting about the books. Then texting about other things. Then meeting for coffee. Then meeting at his apartment. Then sleeping together every Tuesday and Thursday when I told Ryan I was at yoga. I wasn't unhappy with Ryan. That's the part people don't get. I loved him. He was a great husband, great father, good provider. We had a nice house, nice life, nice everything. But Derek made me feel exciting. Made me feel like I was 25 again, not 34 with stretch marks and mom hair and a minivan. Ryan and I were still having sex. Not as often as we used to, maybe twice a week, but it was fine. Good, even. I never stopped sleeping with my husband. I was just also sleeping with Derek. I know how that sounds. I know what that makes me. We were careful. Derek and I. He always used protection. Always. Except for twice. 2 times in 7 months when we got caught up in the moment and didn't. And I told myself it was fine because my period was regular, because I'd track my cycle, because what were the odds? The odds, apparently, were pretty good. I found out I was pregnant 3 days before Ryan's vasectomy. I'd been feeling weird for a week. Nauseous. Tired. My breasts hurt. I recognized the signs because I'd been pregnant twice before. But I was in denial. Told myself it was stress. Told myself it was nothing. I bought a test on my way home from Derek's apartment. Took it in the McDonald's bathroom. Positive. I bought 2 more tests. Both positive. I sat in my car in the parking lot and tried not to hyperventilate. The timeline was bad. Really bad. Ryan and I had sex 3 weeks ago. Derek and I had unprotected sex 5 weeks ago and again 3 weeks ago, right around the same time as Ryan. If I was pregnant, it could be either of them. But deep down, I knew. I knew it was Derek's because Ryan and I had been less frequent, and the timing lined up better with Derek. I thought about getting an abortion. Seriously considered it. I could have made an appointment, handled it quietly, and nobody would have known. But something stopped me. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was the insane thought that I could actually pull this off. Because 3 days later, Ryan was getting his vasectomy. The surgery that would make it medically impossible for him to get anyone pregnant. And if I was already pregnant, if I could just wait a few weeks to find out, I could claim it happened right before his surgery. A miracle baby. One last shot before the vasectomy. People would believe it. Ryan would believe it. It was the stupidest plan I've ever had. But I was desperate. Ryan's vasectomy was on a Friday. I drove him to the clinic, held his hand in the waiting room, kissed him before they took him back. He was nervous. Kept making jokes about losing his manhood. I laughed and told him he was being ridiculous, that it was a simple procedure, that everything would be fine. And while he was in surgery getting his tubes cut and tied, I was in the bathroom down the hall taking 3 more pregnancy tests just to be sure. All positive. 6 weeks pregnant, according to the app I'd downloaded. Ryan's procedure took 30 minutes. He came out groggy from the anesthesia, walking funny, holding an ice pack to his crotch. I helped him to the car. Drove him home. Got him settled on the couch with painkillers and Netflix. He was so grateful. Kept thanking me for taking care of him, for being there, for being such a good wife. I wanted to vomit. The plan was to wait 4 weeks, then discover I was pregnant. Act shocked. Confused. Wonder how it could have happened. Then we'd both remember that we had sex 3 weeks before his surgery. It was possible. Unlikely, but possible. A miracle baby. Our little surprise. Ryan would be shocked at first, Maybe stressed about the money and the logistics, but he'd come around. He always did. He was a good dad. He'd love this baby just like he loved Emma and Tyler. That was the plan. For 3 weeks, I played the perfect wife. Took care of Ryan while he recovered. Had sex with him again once the doctor cleared him, even though I felt sick the whole time. Kept seeing Derek on Tuesdays and Thursdays, told him I might be getting a cold, that we should be careful. He didn't know I was pregnant. I wasn't going to tell him. This baby was going to be Ryan's. It had to be. Week 4, I staged the discovery. I'd been complaining about feeling tired, mentioned my period was late, wondered out loud if maybe the stress of Ryan's surgery had thrown off my cycle. Ryan suggested I take a test just to rule it out. I acted reluctant. Said it was probably nothing. But I took the test. Positive. Obviously. I came out of the bathroom with the test in my hand, face carefully arranged in shock. Ryan looked up from his phone. Saw my expression. Said, "No way. It's positive." What? How? I don't know. I don't understand. He took the test from me. Stared at it. But I just had a vasectomy. I know. Like, 4 weeks ago. I know, but. I let my voice trail off. Waited. His face went through several emotions. Confusion. Disbelief. Then slowly, realization. Wait. We had sex before the surgery. Like, 3 weeks before. Yeah. So this could be from them? I guess. Is that possible? He pulled out his phone. Started Googling. I watched him scroll through article after article about pregnancy timelines, vasectomy effectiveness, conception windows. I'd already read all of them. I knew what they said. It was technically possible. Unlikely, but possible. Holy crap, he said. It says here that sperm can survive in the uterus for up to 5 days, and if you ovulated right after we had sex, you could have gotten pregnant before the vasectomy. It's rare, but it happens. So this is real? This is real. He started laughing. Actually laughing. We're having a 3rd baby. Right after I got a vasectomy. That's insane. I laughed too. Relief flooding through me. He believed it. He actually believed it. We told the kids that weekend. Emma was excited. Tyler was confused but happy. We called our parents. Everyone was shocked but supportive. My mom kept saying what a miracle. Ryan's dad made jokes about Ryan's super sperm. Everyone thought it was hilarious and amazing and unexpected. I played along. Smiled. Acted surprised. Let Ryan tell the story over and over about how we'd gotten pregnant right before his vasectomy. How it was 1 in a million. How this baby was meant to be. And for 6 weeks, I almost believed it myself. Almost forgot that this baby wasn't Ryan's miracle. It was my mistake. I broke things off with Derek. Told him I thought we should cool it, that I was feeling guilty, that I needed to focus on my family. He was disappointed but understanding. Said he'd miss me. Asked if we could still be friends. I said maybe someday. Then I blocked his number. Everything was fine. Everything was going according to plan. Until my 12-week appointment. Ryan came with me. He'd come to all the appointments with Emma and Tyler, and he wanted to come to this one too. We were excited. This was the appointment where we'd hear the heartbeat, maybe see the baby on the ultrasound, get our first real look at this miracle baby. The ultrasound tech was friendly. Squeezed the gel on my stomach, pressed the wand down, and there it was. Our baby. Moving. Heart beating. Perfect. Everything looks great, she said. Based on the measurements, I'd say you're about 12 weeks and 4 days. I felt my stomach drop. 12 weeks and 4 days. That was too far along. That was past Ryan's vasectomy date. That was impossible if Ryan was the father. Ryan didn't notice. He was staring at the screen, smiling, squeezing my hand. But the ultrasound tech noticed my face. She looked at me, then at her measurements, then back at me. Is there a problem with the dates? No, I said quickly. No, it's fine. I must have miscalculated. Ryan looked at me. Didn't you say your last period was 8 weeks before the vasectomy? I thought so. But I guess I was wrong. The tech printed out the ultrasound photos. Gave us a new due date. Congratulated us. We left. In the car, Ryan was quiet. I could see him doing math in his head. I tried to distract him, talked about baby names, about where we'd put the crib, about telling Emma and Tyler they were getting a sibling. He didn't respond. Just drove home in silence. That night, after the kids were in bed, he came into the kitchen where I was doing dishes. He had his phone in his hand. He said, I called the vasectomy clinic. My hands froze in the dishwater. I talked to the nurse. Told her about your pregnancy. Told her the dates. Asked her if it was possible that you got pregnant before my surgery. Ryan. She said no. She said based on your due date from today's ultrasound, conception would have been around week 5 of your pregnancy, which was a full week after my surgery. She said it's medically impossible for you to be pregnant with my baby. I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. She said if you're pregnant, it's not mine. She said I should talk to my wife about who the father might be. Ryan, I can explain. Can you? His voice was so quiet. So calm. That's what scared me. He wasn't yelling. Wasn't angry. Just calm. Can you explain how you're pregnant with a baby that's medically impossible for me to have fathered? Can you explain that, Jenna? The dates could be wrong. The ultrasound could be off. They're not. You know they're not. I saw your face when the text said 12 weeks. You knew. You already knew the timeline didn't work. I stood there with my hands dripping dishwater on the floor. How long? He asked. Ryan. How long have you been cheating on me? 7 months. He actually staggered. Like I'd hit him. 7 months? You've been cheating on me for 7 months? I ended it. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I ended it. Oh, well, that's great. That's wonderful. You ended your affair after you got knocked up by your boyfriend. Should I thank you? Ryan, please. Is that why you suggested I get a vasectomy? So you could keep sleeping with him without worrying about getting pregnant by me? No. The vasectomy was something we both decided. We decided before you started screwing someone else. I got a vasectomy because I thought we were done having kids, and you were out there making new ones with another man. He threw his phone at the wall. It shattered. I flinched. Who is he? It doesn't matter. Who is he? Derek. From book club. Ryan laughed. It was a horrible sound. Book club. That's good. That's really good. So while I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for our life, you were banging Derek from book club. I'm sorry. You're pregnant with another man's baby and you tried to trick me into raising it. You were going to let me believe this was my child. You were going to let me bond with it, love it, pay for it, raise it as mine. For what? 18 years? You were going to lie to me for 18 years? I didn't know what else to do. You could have told me the truth. You could have been honest. You would have left me. You're right. I would have. And I'm going to now. He walked toward the bedroom. I followed. Ryan, please, we can work through this. Work through this? You're having another man's baby. There's no working through that. What about Emma and Tyler? He stopped. Turned around. His eyes were red. What about them? What do I tell our kids, Jenna? That mommy cheated and got pregnant and lied about it? That the baby they've been excited about isn't really their sibling? We don't have to tell them anything. We don't have to tell them? Are you insane? When this baby comes out, I'm getting a paternity test. And when it confirms what we already know, I'm filing for divorce and custody. And then I'm filing charges against you for paternity fraud. Paternity fraud? That's not a real thing. In this state it is. You attempted to defraud me into accepting parental responsibility for a child that isn't mine. That's a crime, Jenna. A misdemeanor at minimum, possibly a felony depending on how the DA wants to charge it. You can't be serious. I called a lawyer while you were in the shower. Filed a consultation. He said I have a strong case. You admitted the affair. The medical evidence proves the baby can't be mine. You deliberately tried to deceive me. That's textbook fraud. I felt my legs give out. I sat on the floor. Ryan grabbed a bag from the closet. Started throwing clothes in it. I'm staying at my brother's. I'll get the rest of my stuff this week. Don't call me. Don't text me. My lawyer will be in touch. Ryan, please. I love you. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Every day for 7 months, you made a choice. And now you get to live with it. He walked out. I heard him go into Emma's room, then Tyler's. Heard him kiss them goodnight. Heard him tell them he loved them. Heard him leave. I sat on the bedroom floor until sunrise, 12 weeks pregnant with another man's baby, my marriage over, criminal charges pending, and no idea how to fix any of it. The worst part? I could feel the baby moving. This tiny flutter that I knew was too early to really be movement, but my mind wanted it to be. This baby that wasn't a miracle. Just evidence. Evidence of every terrible choice I'd made. Evidence I was about to deliver in 6 months, in front of everyone who believed my lie. I destroyed everything for Derek. And Derek didn't even know this baby existed. Ryan filed for divorce 4 days after he left. Emergency custody of Emma and Tyler, citing moral unfitness and ongoing criminal behavior. A judge granted temporary custody to Ryan pending investigation. I got supervised visitation, 4 hours a week. The first time I had to visit my own kids with a court-appointed supervisor sitting in my living room, Emma asked why. She was 7 years old, asking me why a stranger was watching us play Uno. I told her it was temporary. I told her Daddy was just being careful. I told her everything was fine. Everything was not fine. Ryan's lawyer filed a police report for paternity fraud within a week. I got a call from a detective asking me to come down to the station to clear some things up. I went. I shouldn't have gone without a lawyer, but I thought if I explained, if I was honest, maybe they'd understand. They didn't understand. The detective was a woman, maybe 45, and she looked at me like I was something she'd scraped off her shoe. She had Ryan's statement. She had the medical records from the vasectomy clinic. She had the ultrasound report showing conception occurred after the vasectomy date. She had screenshots of my texts with Derek from Ryan's phone records, because apparently spouses can request phone records in divorce proceedings. She asked me to explain. I tried. I told her about the affair, about getting pregnant, about being scared, about making a terrible decision. She said, "So you knowingly attempted to deceive your husband into accepting financial and legal responsibility for a child you knew wasn't his?" I didn't think of it like that. How did you think of it? I thought I could make it work. I thought if he believed it was his, everything would be okay. Did you plan to ever tell him the truth? I didn't answer. Mrs. Patterson, did you plan to ever tell your husband this baby wasn't his? No. She closed her notebook. I'm charging you with attempted paternity fraud and criminal deception. You'll receive a court summons in the next few weeks. I'd suggest you get a lawyer. I got a lawyer. A cheap one because I couldn't afford better. Ryan had cleaned out our joint account the day he left, taking half. His half, technically legal, but it left me with $4,000 to my name and a mortgage I couldn't pay. The house went into foreclosure 3 months later. I had to move into my mom's basement. My mom, who was so disappointed she could barely look at me. Who kept asking how could you do this to Ryan? To the kids? Like I didn't ask myself the same thing every single day. Derek found out about the pregnancy from a mutual friend at book club. He called me. First time we'd spoken in 3 months. He said, "Is it mine?" Yes. Silence. Long, horrible silence. Were you ever going to tell me? No. You were just going to let Ryan raise my kid? Yes. What the hell is wrong with you? I didn't have an answer. He hung up. Called back 2 hours later. Said his lawyer wanted to talk to my lawyer about paternity rights. Said he wasn't trying to make things harder, but if this was his kid, he had a right to know. Had a right to be involved. His lawyer contacted my lawyer. Demanded a paternity test as soon as the baby was born. Said Derek wanted partial custody. Wanted his name on the birth certificate. Wanted child support calculations based on income. So now I had Ryan trying to prove the baby wasn't his so he could avoid responsibility, and Derek trying to prove the baby was his so he could claim rights. 2 men fighting over a baby neither of them actually wanted, just to win their legal battles. And me, 16 weeks pregnant, living in my mom's basement, facing criminal charges. The story went semi-viral in our town. Someone from the clinic leaked the story to a local Facebook group. Local woman tries to pass off affair baby as miracle baby after husband's vasectomy. It got shared 2,000 times. My name, my face, everything. I lost my job. I worked at a dental office, receptionist, and the dentist called me into his office and said they were restructuring. I know what it really was. He couldn't have a paternity fraudster as the face of his practice. Bad for business. I applied for unemployment. Got denied because I was fired for moral turpitude, which apparently is a thing that disqualifies you. My friends stopped calling. Every single one. The book club kicked me out, obviously. My sister-in-law blocked me on everything. My brother told me not to come to Christmas because Ryan would be there and it would be uncomfortable. Emma and Tyler's school called. Said some parents were concerned about me dropping off or picking up the kids. Asked if supervised visitation could extend to school functions. Ryan agreed. So now I couldn't even go to my own kids' school events without a court monitor. I saw them every Saturday for 4 hours. Emma was confused and sad. Tyler was acting out, hitting kids at school, having tantrums. The family therapist Ryan hired said the kids were struggling with the instability, with not understanding why mommy and daddy weren't together, why there was a stranger at visitation. Ryan wouldn't speak to me. All communication went through lawyers. I tried texting him once, begging him to let me explain to the kids, to help them understand. He forwarded the text to his lawyer, who forwarded it to my lawyer with a cease and desist letter. The baby kept growing. I was showing now, obviously pregnant, and everywhere I went, people stared. They knew. Everyone knew. The grocery store, the gas station, church. I stopped going to church after the pastor's wife told me maybe I should take some time away from the congregation. My court date was set for 2 months after my due date. The DA was charging me with attempted paternity fraud, a Class A misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail and a $2,500 fine. My lawyer said if I pleaded guilty and showed remorse, I might get probation. But pleading guilty meant admitting I'd committed a crime. Meant having a criminal record. Meant losing any chance at joint custody of Emma and Tyler. My lawyer said I didn't have a choice. The evidence was overwhelming. Ryan had a vasectomy. Medical records proved conception happened after the vasectomy. I'd admitted to the affair. I'd admitted I planned to deceive Ryan. There was no defense. The baby was born on March 3rd. A boy. 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Healthy. Perfect. I named him Jackson because I'd always loved that name and nobody else got a say anymore. Not Ryan. Not Derek. Just me. Derek came to the hospital. Brought papers for a paternity test. We swabbed Jackson's cheek right there in the delivery room. He held his son for maybe 5 minutes. Took a picture. Then left. The results came back 2 weeks later. 99.9% probability that Derek was the father. His lawyer filed immediately for shared custody and child support. The state calculated I owed him $847 per month based on our income disparity. He made 6 figures. I made nothing. So now I owed child support to the man I cheated with, for the baby I tried to trick my husband into raising. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Ryan's lawyer used the paternity results in our divorce proceedings. Showed the judge that I'd committed fraud, that I'd endangered the children's well-being, that I destroyed the family through deliberate deception. The judge gave Ryan primary custody. I got supervised visitation with Emma and Tyler, every other Saturday, 4 hours. I got no custody of Jackson. Derek got Jackson every other weekend and 2 evenings a week. So I had my 2 older kids 8 hours a month, and my baby 11 days a month, and none of them at the same time because the custody schedules didn't line up. My court date was in May. I pleaded guilty. The DA asked for 6 months in jail. My lawyer argued for probation, cited my lack of criminal history, my remorse, my 3 children who needed their mother. The judge lectured me for 20 minutes. Called my actions reprehensible, said I committed a fundamental violation of trust, said I'd weaponized pregnancy to commit fraud. He sentenced me to 90 days in jail, suspended pending 1 year of probation. $2,500 fine. 200 hours of community service. Mandatory therapy. And a permanent criminal record. I cried. Right there in court, I cried. Not because of the sentence. Because I'd become this. A criminal. A woman who'd lied to her husband, cheated on her family, tried to trick everyone, and was now standing in front of a judge accepting consequences for fraud. The local news covered it. Woman sentenced for paternity fraud in vasectomy case. It ran on the 6 o'clock news. My face, my name, my crime. My mom called me crying. Said her neighbors saw it. Said she was humiliated. I wanted to tell her she wasn't the one who'd been humiliated. I was. Every day. In every way possible. Ryan got remarried 18 months later. I found out from Emma, who told me at visitation. Daddy's getting married to Miss Sarah. She's really nice. She makes good pancakes. Miss Sarah was a teacher at their school. Someone appropriate. Someone good. Someone who wouldn't cheat and lie and destroy everything. They're trying for a baby. Emma told me that too. Said she wants a little sister. Said she hopes Miss Sarah has a girl. I didn't tell Emma that she already has a little brother. That Jackson exists. Ryan doesn't let the kids see Jackson. Says it's too confusing, says they don't need to bond with the affair baby, says when they're older he'll explain but not now. So Emma and Tyler don't know they have a brother. Jackson doesn't know he has siblings. And I'm the only person who knows all 3 of my kids exist, but I can't have them together. Derek got married too. Found someone nice on a dating app, married her after a year. She's okay with Jackson. Comes to the custody exchanges. Calls him our bonus son. She's pregnant now. Jackson will have a half-sibling who lives in his house full-time while he only lives there part-time. I'm 37 years old. I live in a studio apartment, the cheapest I could find. I work at a warehouse, night shift, $15 an hour. It's the only place that would hire me with a criminal record for fraud. I see Emma and Tyler 8 hours a month. I see Jackson 11 days a month. I owe child support to Derek. I owe restitution to Ryan for legal fees, per the divorce settlement. I owe my mom rent. I have $86 in my bank account after bills. I don't date. Who would date me? The paternity fraud woman? The woman with 3 kids by 2 men, who tried to trick her husband, who has a criminal record. I tried a dating app once. Made it 3 days before someone recognized me and posted screenshots in a local Facebook group. Paternity fraud woman is on Tinder. It got shared 500 times. I deleted the app. My therapist, the court-mandated one, keeps trying to help me process my choices. She wants me to understand why I did what I did, what drove me to the affair, to the lie. But I don't need to understand. I know exactly why I did it. I was selfish. I wanted to feel exciting. I wanted Derek's attention. And when I got pregnant, I was too cowardly to face the consequences, so I tried to trick everyone. That's it. That's the whole story. No trauma. No abuse. No excuse. Just selfishness and cowardice. I think about that ultrasound appointment a lot. The moment the text said 12 weeks and 4 days and I knew I was caught. If she'd said 11 weeks, I might have gotten away with it. The timeline would have been close enough. Ryan might have believed it. I could have raised Jackson as his son. Nobody would have known. But she didn't say 11 weeks. She said 12. And that one extra week destroyed everything. I saw Ryan once, 6 months ago. Coincidence? We were both at Target. He was with Sarah and the kids. Emma saw me first. She smiled, started to wave, then stopped when she remembered she wasn't supposed to acknowledge me in public. Ryan saw me looking. He put his hand on Sarah's back and steered her down a different aisle. Didn't say a word. Didn't even look at me. Just redirected his new family away from his old problem. That's what I am now. His old problem. The mistake he made in marrying me. The embarrassment he's moved past. And he has moved past it. I can see it on Facebook, the posts Sarah shares. Family photos. Beach vacations. Emma's dance recitals. Tyler's soccer games. Happy, smiling, normal. A real family, without me in it. They're better off. I know they are. Emma's grades improved. Tyler stopped having tantrums. The therapist said they're adjusting well to the new family structure, that Sarah is a positive influence, that stability is helping them heal. They're healing from me. From the damage I did. Jackson will never know his siblings. By the time he's old enough to understand, Emma will be a teenager who barely remembers me. Tyler will be gone to college. They'll have grown up without him. And he'll have grown up without them. All because I couldn't keep my legs closed and my mouth honest. I got a letter last month. From the book club. They're doing a charity drive for a women's shelter. They wanted to make sure I knew I wasn't invited to participate. Just wanted to clarify. In writing. That's where I am now. Getting disinvited from charity events in writing. Just in case I might show up and embarrass everyone with my presence. I'm writing this because someone needs to hear it. Needs to understand that when you cheat, when you lie, when you try to deceive everyone, you don't just lose your spouse. You lose everything. Your home. Your kids. Your reputation. Your community. Your future. You become the story people tell to feel better about their own mistakes. At least I'm not as bad as that woman who tried to pass off an affair baby as a miracle. I'm the cautionary tale. The example of what not to do. And the worst part? I can't even blame anyone but myself. Ryan didn't drive me to cheat. He was a good husband. Derek didn't seduce me. I pursued him. The baby didn't ask to be conceived. I made that choice by having unprotected sex with my affair partner. Every single step was me. Every lie. Every betrayal. Every terrible decision. All me. And now I live with it. Every day. Alone in my studio apartment, working nights, seeing my kids in fragments, owing money to everyone, with a criminal record and a reputation that follows me everywhere. People ask if I regret it. Of course I regret it. I regret every second. But regret doesn't change anything. Doesn't bring back my marriage. Doesn't give me my kids back. Doesn't erase my criminal record. Doesn't make people stop recognizing me in grocery stores and looking away quickly. Regret is just the weight I carry now. Along with the child support payments, the court fees, the knowledge that I tried to commit fraud, and the reality that my 3 kids will never be in the same room together because I destroyed any chance of that. Jackson is 2 now. He calls Derek Dada and Derek's wife Mama and me Jenna. Not Mommy. Jenna. Because he spends more time at their house and that's where he feels home. My own son calls me by my first name. That's what I have left. 2 kids who visit me like I'm a stranger. 1 kid who doesn't call me mom. A criminal record. A warehouse job. And the knowledge that I did this. All of this. To myself. You don't come back from paternity fraud. You don't rebuild after trying to trick your husband into raising another man's baby. You don't get redemption. You just get this, the rest of your life, knowing you had a family, and you destroyed it for 7 months of feeling special, and now the affair partner's wife makes better pancakes than you ever did and your kids are happier without you.